Hi there, everybody, and welcome to the TNA post show. I, I'm joined, as usual, by my co host. He's the star of the show. He's the one and only Burt Maclin.
How's it going?
It's going good. It is Friday, November 29, 2024, and tonight we're going to be talking about Turning Point. But before we get into Turning Point, Burt, we got two major topics that we got to talk about. So first, this week news broke that Li Ying Li officially signed with TNA.
Yeah, whether some people think it's big or not, I think that's actually huge. Just because whether Jordynne's maybe leaving or not, we don't know. But and Giselle did leave. The Knockouts division did need some restocking, and this is a great pickup.
Where's Buddy?
I agree. It is a big pickup. I definitely think she's going to be a great addition to the Knockouts division, and I definitely do see her becoming Knockouts World Champion.
Yeah.
All right. So the second news that broke was the Hardys revealed that they signed a 1-year deal with TNA. So that actually is good news to hear because they've been killing it in TNA. I'm glad to see them back, and I'm happy that they're sticking around for a year.
I think for me, both Hardys did some of their best work, if not their best, in TNA. So to see that they're sticking around and they look great tonight, this is big as well.
Exactly, I agree. It's just as they see something in Li Ying Li, if they made her exclusive to TNA, I wonder if the status of Jordynne had anything to do with that. TNA doesn't make many people exclusive. That is true. They don't make many people exclusive. There's a lot of there. I think that there's been a handful of people that are per appearance deals. I'm not sure, but yeah, the fact that they made it, they inked that deal, it's a massive win. I had a feeling they would sign a 1-year deal. They are TNA World Tag Team Champions. They could have taken those titles today. That's true. Let's get everybody off. We're talking Turning Point because we got some stuff to talk about. So, with that being said, tonight's Turning Point was plagued by a little travel issue. So, first off, PCO was not able to make it. According to commentary, he's celebrating Thanksgiving with his Australian wife.
That's funny. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I know. And then he was replaced by Rhino, but we'll get more into that when we get there. So we had a 6-man tag match. It was Ace Austin. It was originally supposed to be Ace Austin and the Hardys versus Kushida and the Rascals. But Trey McGill could not make it. So instead, we got Matt Riddle. I was really surprised. I was not expecting Matt Riddle. I was expecting like Myron Reed because he's a fellow Rascal too. But I stopped watching NXT around the time that Vince took over, so I didn't know MSK and Matt Riddle had a connection there. But it makes sense because Matt Riddle, he likes the green stuff just like the Rascals, so it makes sense.
Well, it makes sense. If it's for one night, that's okay. I just don't know. It just seems like he's someone that's had a little bit of trouble lately. You know what I mean? I'm not going to speak on it. But it just seems... I don't think necessarily TNA needs him as much as TNA would need TNA. But that remains to be seen going forward.
Yeah,
it was a very good match.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if this is if he signed some type of deal, this is just a one-time thing. Like I haven't seen or read anything, but it was a decent match. And Riddle did fit in with Zachary Wentz here. Let me see. It says it was a fun excuse, but in seriousness, I wonder if the storms in the Midwest hampered PCO and Trey to get there. Surprised it was only 2 times I couldn't make it. Oh, I heard something about that. It's like Brett and I are West Coasters, so we don't know anything about storms. But I heard that was the reason why there was travel issues.
Yeah, I didn't even hear anything like that. So
We're Californians. We don't get storms like that. And here in beautiful sunny Southern California, we don't what storms. It will be interesting to see if this being WrestleCade weekend, that's why Matt was booked to fill in, or if it was a tryout. I know Matt has been with Major League Wrestling in Florida. Again, we don't know. I haven't read anything about him signing the deal, or if this, like I said, was just a one-time thing. I guess we just got to wait and see. I could see him making a couple of appearances, but again, we don't know. But I think that he was a great substitute. I really like the dynamic with Jeff Hardy in this. Like, Zachary Wentz signaled for Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy did to smoke him if you got him. I don't got him, so I can't smoke him.
Like I said, he definitely fits the gimmick, but I just don't. I just don't necessarily think TNA needs that or needs him at this point. But again, if the fans respond and he, it is, it remains to be seen. Like I said, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, for sure. It does remain to be seen. No surprise, the Hardys and Ace Austin won here. They were in North Carolina, and the fact that the Hardys had previously lost on the Go Home show, yeah, they weren't gonna lose here.
Yeah, that was a safe bet.
All right. So let's start off with the countdown to Turning Point, which kicked off with the Joe Hendry promo. Now, this wasn't your typical Joe Hendry promo because he didn't end it with the whole believe in 252 pounds of pure motivation, but he did talk about how he wishes he was involved in the title match. Don't we all wish that? But yeah, he's involved in a turkey bowl match. And he starts talking about his opponents, and he starts talking about Hammerstone. And I'm sorry, I like Hammerstone, but I could not help but to laugh. So was he ham or turkey or turkey or turkey stone? I felt so bad for laughing because I like Hammerstone, but that was funny.
It was typical Joe Henry. Typical Joe Henry comedy.
Yeah, for sure. The crowd was chanting Turkey Stone, so I guess he would be Turkey Stone. And then it's Joe Henry that breaks the news that PCO couldn't be there and he was replaced with Rhino. Basically, he's photoshopping everybody with the turkey suit in these pictures.
When we get to this match, I was surprised about the winner. Let's just say that.
Oh. Joe made the best of being in the Thanksgiving match with the promo. We all wished he got another crack at the world title. I think so too, and we'll get to that when we get to the main event. So again, typical Joe Henry promo. Like I said, he didn't end it with his usual shtick of we believe in 252 pounds. So this was a little different, but I did like it nevertheless. So then we get a triple threat match. It's Zaya Brookside versus Rosemary versus Savannah Evans. Now that was interesting that Savannah Evans and Rosemary were forming some type of alliance during this match, but yeah, it was more from Rosemary's side. She wanted to be in an alliance with Savannah Evans, but only when it seemed to benefit her, because she did prevent Savannah Evans from winning this match, and she also did team up with Zaya Brookside to take down Savannah Evans. But again, Rosemary was just seeking her best interest during this match.
Yeah, nothing against Rosemary. I would have rather seen. I just think her win at this point. It's not tired, and I'm not over it. I just think I would have rather seen Savannah win because I think that they need to start building up someone to be the next monster heel in the Knockouts division. I don't think it's Rosemary. I don't think it's Zaya. I think Zaya, which I don't mind if she would have won, because I think she's going to be one of the top baby faces going forward, or at least I think she should be. But Rosemary winning, I am fine with, because I could see somebody like her or her being the one to challenge. What's the final pay-per-view of the year?
Final Resolution.
Yeah, I could see her just being the one to challenge Masha for, especially, and we'll talk more about that later. Her being the one to challenge for the title at Final Resolution.
It feels like Rosemary's just lost without Havoc. I thought she would go back to being Courtney Rush. Rosemary was was how she got her foot in TNA knockouts locker room match. What? Match that was what? What are you trying to say? Final resolution, which is 2 Fridays from now, is at the old WCW Studios in Alhambra. Oh, I didn't know that. But
So, yeah,
anywho,
it's I would say, and then just real quick, yeah, like I didn't realize it was that soon. It's not like Final Resolution is one of the bigger pay-per-views, so that's that could be a match. Just Rosemary and Masha. They don't need much build to build to.
oh,
So
holy shit. You're right. 2 weeks. Oh my God. I didn't realize. Match was okay. Nothing special. Yeah. I'm really glad Savannah Evans did not get pinned here because, like you said, they're going to build her up to be the next monster here. She definitely does not need to get pinned in this match. So it was a good call to not have her get pinned. So I definitely could see her stepping to Masha Slamovich, but not anytime soon. They need a rebuilder.
Yeah.
All right, so the last thing that happened on the countdown was we got a Steve Maclin interview. He says that the match with him and Josh is going to be a fight, which we'll talk about when we get there. And he brings up the fact that, that they zip tied him. He didn't quit. He's still standing. And he's going to set a new standard for TNA. And that standard is tag 'em, bag 'em, and mayhem for all. I think they have a massive opportunity, especially because we don't know if Josh Alexander is going to stick around after his contract expires, to turn Steve Maclin into the biggest babyface of all time and the face of TNA.
Yeah, whether he's a heel or babyface, Steve Maclin is somebody they should build on going forward. He's one of those names that, yeah, I think they've really, especially for people who have said, oh, they shouldn't have took the title off of him that soon, which I agree.
I agree too.
I think he's more over than he has been, even when he had the title right. I think he's more over now. So I think he's somebody else that's going to be that they have big plans for going forward. Since you said Josh Alexander on the long term, we don't know those plans. We don't know, how long they have him for.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know exactly when Josh's contract is up. Let me see. Steve looked great tonight versus Josh Alexander. I love how he went back to. Oh, okay, you're getting a little ahead of yourself. We're not did that match yet, but I like that part too. So
it said I just googled it, and I don't know. It doesn't say where this is from. It says this deal is set to expire February 2025.
February 20. We don't have a date though, so literally he could be a free agent February 1st and be at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, well, again, whether he stays with TNA, and that's one of those things, like when people talk about like the phrase that so and so's done all they can somewhere. I know Josh Alexander is in his 30s, and whether TNA keeps him or not, it's not like TNA doesn't have people who, like we're talking about Steve Maclin right now. TNA have people, so yeah.
I will say this one last thing before we move on to the main card. Josh Alexander is an incredible talent. I know I say a lot about TNA Talent Elite, but it's true. He's an incredible talent, and he will make a fantastic addition to any roster. So if he stays, I'm happy that he stays. If not, I wish him well and hopefully he finds success wherever he goes.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so the main card kicked off with Frankie Kazarian, the true king of TNA, versus Mike Santana here. And whatever happened to Josh did great during his time in TNA. I'll say that. Yeah, definitely agree. So this was a good opening match, if you ask me. A great match to kick off the show with. Mike Santana won, which was, in my opinion, the right call, because if you're going to put Mike Santana up to be world champion, he needed to win more than Frankie Kazarian here.
Oh, definitely, because Frankie Kazarian has the Call Your Shot trophy, right? Is that what that what he has?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it isn't fitting because, and I'll talk about it a little more later, especially after. Well, I mean, when we talk about the main event, especially where I think we're gonna go, where they're gonna go. But I think it's very fitting because I think both one of these guys will be the next TNA World Champion. I think it'd be very interesting if that whoever they pick depends on, because I think both the cities where they're from are in the running for a TNA pay-per-view. I think Frankie Kazarian's from Southern California, Mike Santana's from New York. So I think whichever city wins, I think that's when they should put the title on one of those guys that night.
We're so glad you brought that up, you guys. I don't know if you guys know, but TNA is doing a poll where you get to vote which major city is going to have a show, and your two choices are New York City and the City of Angels, LA. Please vote to bring TNA to LA. Okay, it's time to expand into the West Coast. Okay, yeah, sure, they've been in Las Vegas, but they should come to LA. Don't you want the pay-per-view to start at 5 and end at 8? I mean, for us, a Turning Point ended at 7. We still had the whole night just to relax.
That's true. That's true.
So I don't know how the East Coasters do it. I say it every time. I don't know how they do it. You know? So where's the California love, man?
And plus, selfishly, I want to go to it. It would be. I would
Me
not.
too.
You know, it wouldn't be a lot of travel for me. So
Shit, same here. I definitely would be front. Well, maybe I wouldn't be front row. I mean, if I'm lucky, I'll be front row, but I'll definitely be there. It reminds me, I saw last week there was a poll in TNA where, that's what I was talking about. A solid opener. Yeah, I agree. All right, so next we get a promo with the system, and of course you're talking about their respective matches. Moose talking about Laredo Kid. I love the fact that he says in Spanish, Laredo Kid will fear the system. Le va tener miedo al sistema. Love that. Love that he said that in Spanish. And I like the fact that he's like, yeah, you should go back to Mexico, to Laredo, because you know his name is Laredo Kid, so is it from Laredo, Texas? So and then Nick Nemeth, Eddie Edwards says that Nick Nemeth will trust the system. So what'd you think of this promo?
First I just really like the fact that the unity of the system is just showing, like, and just not showing any time that they're going to break up, because it's not like they've been gone a long time. And just the fact that Moose, while some people could say that the X Division title is a secondary title, you've heard him say that he wants to, you know, take it to new heights and make it the title. And you always like hearing that, because the X Division title, one could argue, is the title in the company, or the most important. Yeah, I did really like this promo.
I think that Moose said that he was going to beat up Laredo Kid and take his mask and give it to his kid. I thought that was brutal.
Yeah.
But this is a really good promo by the system. You know, I'm still putting it out there. I think Leon Sater is going to be the one to beat Moose at break Amazing Red's record. We have a full, it's December, so we have full 9 months for that to happen.
Yeah.
Because his birthday is in September. All right. So next we get the Turkey Bowl match. But before that, John Skylar cuts a promo. And he basically says that he's not a guy that likes to make promises he can't keep. But he says one of these hams will be leaving the arena in a turkey suit. And he was absolutely correct. So the Turkey Bowl featured Brian Meyers, Hammerstone, Joe Henry, John Skylar, Eric Young, and Rhino taking PCO's place. As we learned, had travel issues, but kayfabe, he was celebrating Thanksgiving with his Australian wife. But I thought this was, how can I say this in a nice way? I was not a huge fan of this match. You know, I just felt like out of all the matches, this was probably like one of the weaker matches. I don't say that a lot about TNA matches, but this was not one of my favorites, I would say.
The people in it, you know, tried, you know, but then, and it's not like it's a gimmick match. There's just a gimmick on the line to the loser. But yeah, it was it was just there. You know what I mean? It wasn't bad, but it wasn't, you know.
Yeah. Io says John Skylar deserves a field day laughing. He told us so. Yeah, he did tell us so. I have to say, I wonder if Hammerstone is okay. It seemed like he got injured during this match because he was like limping. So I hope he's fine. I haven't heard or read any reports about him being injured, but during this match, you could tell he possibly hurt his left leg because he was limping. So I'm hoping he's fine.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I'm not surprised Joe Henry won here. I mean, I think pretty much we all knew Joe Henry was winning. However, I was surprised by the person who had to wear the turkey suit. It was Brian Meyers. I think a lot of us expected John Skylar to be the one to wear that turkey suit. Even Joseph says he was surprised Brian Meyers was the 2024 TNA turkey. He had it being Skylar. I think everybody did. I think even Tom Hannafin said that John Skylar was the favorite to wear the turkey suit, and I would have, if I had bet money on this match, I would have bet that John Skylar was going to be the one to wear that turkey suit.
But you can make a case that it really doesn't hurt Brian Meyers. He was just tag team champion. He's in the top faction, and they do have to keep the good hands somewhat strong. They are a mid-card jobber tag team, but you don't want to bury them too much all the time. You know what I mean? This doesn't hurt Brian. This doesn't hurt Brian Meyers, especially when you look at I don't have the list in front of me, but I bet you if somebody in the comments can bring it up, I bet you there's some Hall of Famers who have won that turkey suit. I think Alex Shelley has won it, and he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. And I think I saw AJ Styles has won it once, and he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. So it's not like it's a bad thing.
I mean, that's true. I mean, it took Rhino, it took Eric Young and Joe Henry to put this turkey suit on Miles because he did try to leave. He got an AA
That's true.
in 4.
And then I think Ray Walt mentioned, didn't they put the turkey suit on a downed man? Didn't they put it on him? So it took a bunch of spears from Rhino. So yeah. But yeah, this was fine. And again, it doesn't hurt Brian Meyers.
It doesn't. And I do agree with you about the good hands. They do have to keep them somewhat strong. And I've always said the good hands are underappreciated and underrated. They don't get enough credit for being such a great tag team,
And like I said, the system are the top heels, and the top heels have to lose once in a while.
That's true. The system ain't gonna be happy about this. Oh, I thought
exactly. Yeah.
Names like Style, Shelly, Grado, Disco, and Vernon Chris Masters wear the suit. Okay. So Rosemary cuts a promo, and obviously she's setting her sights on the TNA Knockouts Championship. But she says something interesting that caught my attention. She says that all those that she lost couldn't be there to celebrate, which I'm assuming she's referring to Havoc, Crazy Steve, and the Black Taurus, who is now known by the Beast Mortos in AEW. So it seems like just as mentioned earlier, she's just kind of floating around trying to find something to do now that Havoc has. I don't know if Havoc's coming back.
Yeah, I don't know if Havoc is still signed to TNA.
Yeah, same. I don't know either, but she did, like I said, the point of this is that she wants the TNA Knockouts World Title, and it seems like she might be Masha's first feud, assuming she gets past Jordynne Grace, which we'll get to.
And yeah, I just wanted to confirm it because I randomly saw this recently. I happened to notice that Crazy Steve and Havoc are actually the AAA mixed tag team champions.
Okay.
Having Crazy Steve. So they are teaming together. And so you mentioned her. It would be interesting if they're still with the company, if we see a Decay reunion, because I just think that was when we saw Rosemary at her best was when she was with Decay. And pretty much all versions of Decay was when she was her best.
Well, I also forgot to mention Taya Valkyrie. She slipped my mind. The Dead Dolls. She's also not there too. She went to the Undead Realm and we never saw her again. Well, at least not in TNA.
I definitely think my favorite always was Abyss, Crazy Steve, and Rosemary, but I do think when her and Crazy Steve are together, I think they have really good chemistry. So let's hopefully they do reunite.
So we get the X Division title match. It's Laredo Kid versus Moose. Now I feel bad for Laredo Kid because he never got a rematch for his digital media title. That's another person that's owed a rematch, by the way.
That title they just need to get. They need to get that title on someone different than PCO. You know, I don't hate PCO, but they do need to.
I've made so many suggestions on what TNA can do with that digital media title. I sound like a broken record for always talking about the same thing. One day I'm gonna record a video of myself ranting about a one match explosion, about what they can do with the explosion, and about what they can do with a digital media title. And every time I bring it up, I'm just gonna play that video so I don't have to constantly repeat myself.
It's not even like so much like what they could. It's just. It just seemed at one point that they were positioning that title to mean so much more. But yeah, anyway, we're talking about the X Division, the title match. We could rant about that all night, like you said. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Sorry.
Yeah. I actually really like this match. You know, Laredo Kid was really fast at the beginning for Moose, so Moose had to find a way to slow him down. My favorite spot in this match was that Spanish fly that they did from the top. That was really cool. But this was really great. I actually like this. This was not Moose's usual speed of a match. So he had to slow Laredo Kid down.
That's why I thought this match was going to surprise some people because, you know, there have been bigger X Division champions. I believe Samoa Joe was X Division champion. Abyss was X Division. You know what I mean? When styles clashes are done right, no pun intended, not the move, the type of match. I mean, the phrase. They can be well done. They're done right. They could be fun, and I do expect, and that's why I was kind of excited when Moose became X Division champion because I think we're going to get a lot of matches similar to this, and so I was excited about, the potential matches we could see. I really like this.
Same, and like I said at the beginning, I think Leon Zeta should be the one to dethrone Moose here.
Yeah, I think he eventually will.
Yeah, but while we're on the subject, because I don't know if you noticed this, I took a picture of it. I couldn't find a graphic, but this is important. So the winner gets an X Division title shot at Final Resolution. It's going to happen this Thursday on Impact. This is the fallout from Turning Point, and the participants in this match are Kushida, Ace Austin, Trent Seven, Leon Slater, and JDC. The reason why I bring this up is because JDC is a part of the system and Moose is X Division champion. Obviously, I don't think Leon Slater is winning this. It's too soon. I don't want to get too much into this match, but I just want to bring up the fact that JDC is in this match and he's a member of the system. So what happens if JDC wins and he's going to face Moose, or is he going to lay down for Moose?
Yeah, I don't think they would do that. I think maybe he's just there to almost, I can see him cutting a promo there just to see them guaranteeing the title stays in the system. I don't think JDC wins. I think the obvious winner is Kushida, just because I think that'd be a really good. Oh yeah, I would love that. That's smart. You got to keep the title in the family. You know what I mean?
Finger poke of doom. Oh my god. No, but I think JDC's role. I think you're right. I think it's JDC. I can't even talk somebody. I think JDC's role in that match is just to ensure that Moose doesn't have to defend against anybody else.
That's what they're gonna say. But I don't think JDC wins. Obviously. Who are the people in the match again?
It's Kushida, Leon Slater, Trent Seven, and Ace Austin.
You could also say Ace Austin could win because I think now, and we hope he comes back healthy. We want to see Chris Bay come back, but I think that they definitely are going to pivot with Ace Austin, either put him in the main event scene or back in the X Division scene. So I definitely could see him winning because I think Ace Austin versus Moose would be a phenomenal match.
Oh, but I think so too.
What?
I think so too. I agree with you.
Kushida winning, I think is a safe. I think that's a safe bet.
I could see Kushida winning. I think that's also going to be an interesting match too, an interesting matchup with Kushida and Moose. Kushida would probably try to get the hover ball lock on Moose.
But now that, because that brilliant suggestion by IO, and if you listen to Kevin Nash during the Death of WCW documentary, you see the fans when they did that. And Kevin Nash is a genius in this business. I remember him cutting a promo talking about his how much money his title reign he made in the WWE and Diesel. And I think it was like well into the over the hundreds of millions of dollars what he made as that character. So he's a genius, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't mind a finger poke. I think that's what that should be the decision.
Imagine JDC versus Moose for the X Division title. We'll talk more about that when we get to the fallout from Turning Point this Thursday. But next we have one of my favorite matches of the night. The no DQ match, Steve Maclin versus Josh Alexander. This match, holy shit. Steve Maclin was right. This was not a match. This was a fight.
Yeah, they beat the fuck out of each other.
Oh, they did. They did. I'm surprised we didn't get any blood during this match, though.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm glad you brought that up because I like matches like this where, you know, there's some, you know, some big spots. There was some tables. They were hitting each other with things, but it was more just them hitting hard. Necessarily, there didn't need to be blood. You know what I mean? Like this was really good.
Joseph said this was Moose's second defense in a week. Last Friday in New Jersey at Rival Wrestling, he turned back 33 IDs Jackson Drake to keep the TNA X Division Championship. Damn right they did. Steve was going down swinging, and he won. Oh yeah, that's definitely whether he won or not. Steve Maclin was gonna go down swinging. This was a battle. Oh, it definitely was a battle. And you know, but the rivalry between Steve Maclin and Josh Alexander dates back to when Steve Maclin was supposed to face Josh Alexander at Rebellion last year before Josh Alexander got injured. Now, Steve Maclin was able to become TNA World Champion because Josh was injured. I question sometimes whether that was going to happen if Josh Alexander hadn't gotten injured. But Josh had 2 wins over Maclin. I'm so glad Maclin got the win here. This was a fight to the finish. You know, the only reason Judas Icarus and Travis Williams were not in this match was because they were banned from the building.
You know, once I heard Hannah Fan say that during the pre-show, I was like, okay, then it's certain that someone's going to interfere other than them and cost Maclin the match. I thought it was going to be Eric Young, but then when Eric Young got involved and kind of helped put the turkey suit on, you know, and I didn't think he was going to turn that soon later in the night. So yeah, I'm glad Steve Maclin won just because he needed to get a win back in this series, but I don't think that this feud is over. I think like it's not going to continue right away, but I think they'll have more matches, at least one more going forward.
Man, Josh Alexander put a trash can on Steve Maclin, was whacking him with that door piece and a piece of the table. If that would have been a sick, he would have treated him like a piñata. I have to agree with Io here that torture rack through the table was great. I really liked it. It was gnarly.
Yeah, no, that looked rough. The way he hit the floor.
Yeah, it did. Now I really like the fact that some of my first spots in this was when Josh did the 9 German suplexes. Then Steve Maclin followed up with the German suplexes of his own. I like the fact that you had Steve Maclin doing 3 crossers, which is I think the most he's done in a match. And then he did the KIA, but he stopped the count. Now, as Justice said earlier, I love the fact that he used the shell cases to win the match. I agree. I really like that, especially when he found that black little bag, which I thought was a thumbtack bag. It was a bullet shell casings, and that KIA, the Avalanche KIA to the shell cases with Steve Maclin picking up the win, it was nice. This was a great finish.
But him pulling him up and then it not costing him and making him look stupid was a nice touch just because, you know, he wanted to beat the shit out of him, you know, and he wanted payback, you know what I mean? So this was my favorite match of the night.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just edging out the Santana and Kazarian match.
This was great. This was great. I'm really happy Steve Maclin won this. So next we get a Chris Bay video package, and you know Chris Bay is still recovering, so this was a really nice video package that TNA put together for Chris Bay. I really liked it. Their video packages are getting a lot better, I have to say.
Yeah, definitely.
But hopefully, you know, Chris Bay gets well soon, and we wish him a full recovery.
Of course.
So after this, we get the 6-man tag match, which we talked about. So we're going to go ahead and skip over that. So the co-main event was a 2 out of 3 falls match for the Knockouts World title. Masha Savannah versus Jordynne Grace. These ladies went to war with each other as well. Now, I don't know how about you feel, but I keep saying I felt like this match should have main evented. No disrespect to Nick Nemeth. I know he is our TNA World Champion, but this match, in my opinion, should have main evented.
I actually kind of agree with you. I thought that before, and then especially, I'm going to talk more about it just because I didn't like the ending or a little bit of what went down in the main event. But yeah, I really like this match. I think it should have main evented. And I like the decision of having Jordynne get the first fall and then Masha winning 2 in a row. I kind of think it was more decisive that way. And Jordynne's another one. We keep talking about contracts, I believe, you know, it seems like. So she's another one. I don't know how long she's signed. I think we checked it last week. I think
January.
It's of 2025.
Yeah.
I think she's somebody who I think she does go just because I think she's going to get paid and I think she deserves. So for my money, I think she's the top women's wrestler in the world, at least in the United States. But now it's all about where do they go from here. I think in one of my group chats I was saying I give Masha a nice 6, you know, at least 6 to 8 month run, a dominant run. And then I would like to see her either put over just because of the story and the history, either Killer Kelly.
Whoa, you get your Kelly's mixed up here.
Yeah. Killer Kelly when she comes back, just because the former team of MK Ultra, you know what I mean? Or somebody like Kylan King, who I think is another person who they could build up to being that monster heel. So, or Zaya Brookside, like I said, because I think she's somebody who they're positioned as well to be a top star. One of those 3. But yeah, give Masha a nice long run because I think she's going to carry the division for the next few years.
I also said this was almost her best match of the series. She's still on the Genesis poster at the moment. Yep, some new challenges await Masha. That's true. Some new challenges await her. Like I said, Rosemary could be her first feud because Rosemary was watching this match.
Did I just say that Jordynne's on the poster for Genesis still?
Yeah.
It'd be nice because how do you know, when someone's leaving, do you usually like to see them go out with a win or a loss? Do you have a preference?
Yeah, I would like to normally see them go out with the win, but it also depends on what context too. I mean, you know, it would be nice for them to put somebody over on their way out as well.
For me, Jordynne is somebody who's already kind of cemented her, you know, for me, she's on my Mount Rushmore of knockouts, you know, along with Awesome Kong, Gail Kim, Deanna, and Jordynne. I don't think she needs to prove anything. So if she was to put somebody over in her last match, if she's on the Genesis card, since she says Genesis is going to be, I think I don't know if that's going to be one of their big shows. Is that a pay-per-view or a special?
Pay-per-view.
So yeah, that's their first big show of 2025. Her putting somebody over in that kind of big scenario would be cool. But yeah, if that is her last match, of course I would want to see her win.
Joseph says Masha looked great in a match. You can't tell her confidence has grown since she became knockouts champion. New challenges definitely await Masha. So I want to bring this up because this is relevant to Genesis. So Jordynne Grace apparently is from Austin, Texas, and Genesis is in Dallas, Texas, I believe. So kind of like a Trinity situation where Trinity got the massive win in Florida. I could see Jordynne Grace getting a win in her home state of Texas and riding off into the sunset to go to WWE.
Now you say that, yeah, I would like that. But, and you know, we don't know. Oh.
Put someone over on the way out. I nominate Kylie King when she gets back. That's true. However, if she's going to go up against somebody like Kylie King, I would say she should put Kylie King over. I think, honestly, like, we don't know yet anything about Jordynne's opponent. We do know her contract is up in January. But it's too soon to tell whether she would win or she's going to lose. But I think no matter what, I think she's going to finish up. I think she's going to have a great wrap up with TNA, and she's going to right off into the sunset to WWE.
It, you know, the person that she puts over is like that, because that person that they're going to be able to say that they just put over one of the best, kind of like how Tasha Steelz when she talks about beating Mickie James. You know what I mean? That's going to be huge for that person. Kylie King's a great name. That was a great suggestion by
Time for Masha to carve her own title ring. Yes. We will talk more about Jordynne Grace. Hopefully she does have a match at Genesis. So fingers crossed that she does. I don't think this is the last we've seen of her.
No.
All right. So next we get the main event. It's a TNA World Title match. Nick Nemeth versus Eddie Edwards. And this match played out pretty much the way I thought it was going to go. Nick Nemeth won. Now, I have to say how Alicia Edwards was able to go back after she got ejected from ringside. The ref didn't bother me ejecting her back.
As she shouldn't.
I have to give props to Brian Meyers for going out there dressed as the turkey.
He's committed to the bit. Good for him. That's why he's the most professional wrestler. That was very professional of him.
It was. I always love seeing Eddie wrestle. Yeah, Eddie's great. But of course, JBL gets involved in this and he stops Brian Meyers from getting involved. The ref was blind seeing Alicia came back. That's true, she did. Maybe she was in her blind spot. But
I was saying real quick that love seeing Eddie wrestle. I agree. Because they named his accolades, I believe, during the match. I forget. I think it's been almost 10 years since he's been there. Eddie Edwards is definitely a TNA legend and Hall of Famer at this point. But I just want to keep going. I just want to say.
I think Myers had no choice to keep Tricky Suit on.
I think he did.
So, anywho, GBL keeps assisting Nick Nemeth. I do think I still believe this is leading to a Nick Nemeth heel turn, because you're going to need a heel champion if you're going to have Joe Hendry or Mike Santana be the one to dethrone him.
Now, what's funny is that you said this. At first, I was just saying that I'm kind of getting tired. I've been getting kind of tired of this shit. That's what I was going to say. Mm-hmm. But then I'm going back to what you said when we're talking about Jordynne. I believe JBL is also from Texas, and that's where Genesis is at. Mm-hmm. So that's probably, I hope that's where we finally get some answers with this, if not in the next coming weeks. Because if we only have basically two shows before Final Resolution, I don't think it happens then where we get any follow-up. Because I see Nick Nemeth's opponent, if he has a match at Final Resolution, I see it either being one of those six-way matches, him versus 5 other people, or him being involved in a tag match. But I don't see it being any type of big-time opponent, especially with a 2-week build. But I definitely hope, we finally get at Genesis some answers, because I'm kind of getting tired of seeing JBL, especially since we haven't heard anything about. There's no follow up. We haven't heard him speak.
Even Tom on commentary said that it's time we get an explanation from Nick Nemeth as to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing Santino, he wanted Meyers to keep wearing that suit all the way to next week. We need an explanation from Nemeth or JBL at some point. We do need an explanation. Poor timekeeper got super. That is true. That poor timekeeper. I felt so bad for him. He got super kicked for no reason at all. I could see the Nemeth brothers join forces versus the system at Final Resolution. 2 weeks isn't enough to build a proper pay-per-view. That is true. But like I said, I'm in to believe that Nick Nemeth's going to turn heel here. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. But I think that's what this is leading to. This has to lead to a Nick Nemeth heel turn. What more explanation could there be? I think Nick Nemeth is fully aware of what JBL is doing, and he's acting like he doesn't know what JBL is doing. It's a typical planting the seeds of a heel turn move.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if they do like almost a type of heel turn where, because kind of like how when JBL was looking down on ECW when they did One Night Stand, if when they do turn heel, they kind of act like they're here to they think they're better than this place, because Nick Nemeth is acting very heelish. You know what I mean? And obviously JBL and him are aligned, because the way that he keeps denying it, it's too obvious.
Joseph agrees with you here, and he also agrees that Nick Nemeth will turn heel. He says you did a great job of voicing that frustration that he's starting to have too. He doesn't mind seeing JBL help out Nick Nemeth, but what's the goal? I think Ryan is in it too, and that sucker punch that JBL hit him was planned. I could see that. I could see them being, all three of them being in it together, and then Joe Hendry will be the guy to overcome the odds and take the title off Nick Nemeth, only for Frankie Kazarian to rob him of his moment, like Moose did to Josh Alexander.
Do you think that, just real quick, do you think Nemeth has a title defense at Final Resolution?
I don't think so. I don't think he'll have a title defense. I think I more see like a tag match, kind of like Joseph said here. I think it'll be more like a tag match. I do see him having a title defense at Genesis, TNA Genesis, so.
Yeah, definitely at Genesis, and hopefully that's where we get some sort of big reveal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because hopefully by then, Genesis is in January, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, hopefully they build somebody like a big competitor, because the heel turn that I hope we get that night from JBL and Nick Nemeth has to be big.
I kind of want to see The Rock joining the corporation moment here, where at the end of TNA Genesis, you have JBL once again assisting Nick Nemeth, and Nick Nemeth just gives him a big hug. And then on the fallout is when we get the explanation.
If what now?
You remember when The Rock joined the corporation, he hugged them?
Oh, yeah.
I kind of want to see that with JBL and Nick Nemeth. I want to see at the end of TNA Genesis, once again, JBL gets involved, and Nick Nemeth, he ends up hugging him. And then we get the explanation on the fallout.
Okay.
I want to see that, but that's just me personally. It doesn't have to play out exactly that way, but, that's just me.
Okay.
Alrighty, so that is it for the review. What were your final thoughts on Turning Point?
Good show. The only thing about it was just the camera and audio was a little shaky at times. The audio was just a little poor throughout the show, but it's not like I couldn't hear anything. It just wasn't, it didn't look very good, but it was a very good card.
I think Nemeth has an APA card, and JBL is the only one picking up the orders. Okay.
What if it's like, what was that storyline where Shawn Michaels was in debt and he had to work for JBL?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
What if Nick Nemeth did, something like that? You know what I mean? I don't know, but because what just JBL just keeps flying, you know what I mean? Following TNA around and clotheslining people.
Right? Yeah, it seems like it. All right, so I was at that Royal Rumble. Oh, awesome! That's awesome. Considering they were in a ballroom, it looked like, and it was Wrestle King weekend, I thought it was okay. It wasn't their production crew, unfortunately, but at least it went okay. Yeah, I have to agree with you and what everybody else is saying. I know this was not a TNA production, a TNA produced plus special. I was not a huge fan of how dark everything looked, and the sound was off. I don't blame TNA for that at all. Because again, this was not their typical production. It just, hopefully next year, if they do WrestleCade again, the production quality improves. Because I feel like TNA's past these production issues. And, if we always talk about how we want people to tune in, I would hate for someone to tune in and see this and be like, this is TNA. This is what everybody's talking about. Because this was not a TNA produced show.
No. I'm glad you and I confirmed that, because when I saw that, I was like, oh, it kind of looks like Multiverse United, which was another not TNA produced show. And if that's the case going in, and we know that, when they do like WrestleCades or conventions like this, a show, if it's going to be like that, that's okay. You know what I mean? It's one show. You know what I mean? If they could improve on it, but it didn't make it like where I wouldn't watch it. You know what I mean?
Same.
It was a very good show.
It was still watchable. It was still very watchable. I'm not complaining.
The crowd was very good. It was just the camera.
I'm not complaining at all about the quality of Turning Point. Turning Point was a good show. Minus a Turkey Bowl, I still think that was the weakest match, but it was what it was. So I'm not complaining too much.
Definitely.
Here, the crazy as someone who went to BFG, they definitely dropped the ball, not giving him the title. Everybody was saying it was hot. Okay, so about that, in my opinion, I think that. Well, I do think that Joe Hendry will be world champion. I don't think that it's that he dropped the ball. It's just that Joe Hendry hasn't faced any adversity. He pretty much got skyrocketed because he got over with Creed. Had that not happened, he probably wouldn't have even been in that situation.
See, I don't think Joe Hendry. This is a discussion that could go all night. We're toward the end of the show, but I don't think TNA dropped the ball with Joe Hendry.
Oh, you're welcome, Mayo. No adversity Joe has faced this year until now. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like Josh Alexander. He didn't get his rematch right away after Moose robbed him of the title in front of his family. He had to climb and earn his way back.
But what was your point? What did you say?
About what?
Oh no, because what was I referring to?
Oh, that Joe hasn't faced any adversity until this year.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good. See, just because he's very over, it's not like this is like the first time where he's been like had some consecutive losses. And so people think that just because while he was super over, he didn't become world champion. That's not how it works. You know what I mean? He wasn't in the world title scene. He hadn't beaten anybody. So it's like, come on. He's going to work his way back. Obviously, a BFG type thing would have been better, but he has, you know what I mean? He's going to work his way back. It's not like they have time.
I mean, Joe Hendry was feuding with First Class before he got massively over.
Exactly.
He got screwed at Summerversary, NXT No Mercy, and Bound for Glory. Just keep watching people. LOL, that's true. But anywho, like we said, I don't want to be here all night talking about that because we'll be here all night. But anywho, overall, I thought Turning Point was a good show. Please, people, if you guys see the poll, please the poll that TNA put out, please vote for LA. Bring TNA to LA. New York gets everything here. Please pray to the wrestling gods. that that TNA comes to LA, please. We'll get our answer on Wednesday, December 4th at 2:22 Eastern, which I think is a hint. 2:22, February 22nd is the Saturday. Are we getting No Surrender? I think.
Oh, is that what do you think? That's the show that it would be?
I would think so. I mean, unless the time has anything to do with the show.
Yeah, LA. There's so many places they could. Yes, let's hopefully they get it. Yes,
TNA
hopefully.
gotta go to Los Angeles to tell him want it too. I love TNA though. It's the true alternative to WWE. Oh yeah, I love TNA too. Bert, where can people find you?
Just on Twitter. Just at Twitter, Bert Maclin 11.
All right, and you guys can follow me on Twitter or X at Tatilla_. I talk WWE, Raw, SmackDown, AEW, and of course TNA. Wrestling. I go live on my YouTube channel, Rangers of Wrestling, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, occasional Saturdays and Sundays. And of course, for all things TNA, you can catch me here every Thursday. What if Slammiversary? Are we picking a location? What if it's Slammiversary? We are picking a location for. Oh, that's true. What if it is Slammiversary? I guess we'll find out December 4th. Make sure you vote. Vote for TNA to Los Angeles. All right. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you continue to support, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever we go live or whenever Body Slam goes live. And we'll see you guys next week for the fallout of Turning Point. Bye.